way back, changed up their offense a little bit tonight, and showed off some incredible shot making by Holiday and Middleton in particular. Devin Booker did his share as well for the Suns, but the Bucks get the win tonight, and that leads us to our post-game coverage here on NBA TV. Game Time live at the finals, presented by YouTube TV. Great to have you with us. That's Isaiah Thomas. That's Steve Smith. I'm Matt Weiner. We got Suns fans. They're not sure what to do with themselves right now, to be honest.
Yes.
Their team lost. They're on TV. They want to celebrate, but they know they lost, and so how do they handle that? This was just a great game, by the way.
It is. Both teams, Isaiah, Matt, it was fantastic to watch. This was unbelievable to get a chance to see how these teams competed. We call Gary Payton the glove. I call Kyle Korver the mitten. Drew Holiday is claws. Claws when got it.
Yeah. He was amazing on both ends of the floor.
You know, we said before the game how we thought that he would be better offensive tonight, better on 3 steals. I mean, just a overall great basketball game that he played tonight.
Coming off a 4 for 20 game, remember, in Game 4. At one point tonight, he'd hit 10 of his first 13 shots. He hit his first shot of the game. You could sort of see it building as the confidence grew for Drew Holiday, and the shots started falling.
And I think reason why, Matt, is we all know they got a chance, Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, to be able to handle the basketball and not Giannis bringing it up.
Yep.
Giannis still had 32 points, but he doesn't have to be the initiator. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton getting a chance to run pick and roll. They are the guards.
Yes.
And I think it put them back in their natural position. Also, we know Giannis is one of those freak of nature players. He can handle and make plays, but it helps those guys out, Isaiah, in my opinion. They get to handle the basketball. They're not ball watching.
Without a doubt. Not only do they get to handle the basketball, but it puts them in an offensive rhythm. And as you pointed out earlier, you know, with Middleton playing in the mid-range and Holiday being able to post up, those guys can come off, they can get into their comfort zone, and they can make shots.
It was pretty apparent from the start that this was going to be the plan for Milwaukee, with Holiday and Middleton handling the ball more early in offense. And Giannis' shots really a result of whatever happened in the offensive flow.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, a couple of games ago we talked about how they need to get Giannis into the mid-post. And as opposed to having him penetrate the basketball from the perimeter, you can also penetrate the basketball on the pass inside the post. And this is what they've been doing for Giannis in terms of getting him into the mid-range, letting him play closer to the basket, letting him dominate. And then when he gets closer to the basket, Ayton is backing up, giving him space. And consequently, you know, with his guard skills and his dribbling skills, he can get downhill and get to the basket.
Well, both teams have tightened up their rotations. Both played only 8 tonight for the Bucks, almost. And Pat Connaughton was the big one of those 3 off the bench tonight with 14 points on 4 of 6 shooting from three-point range, and he's with us from the floor here in Phoenix. Pat, congrats on the win tonight. You guys are down 16 a couple of different times in the first quarter of this game. What was said amongst you?
Just stick with it. You know, we came out, and I don't think any of us thought we were playing the brand of basketball that we had to play. You know, they were motivated. They're great in this building, and we knew we had to be a little bit tougher, a little more attention to detail on the defensive end, and make sure that we're making them take some tougher shots.
Pat, Steve Smith, fantastic game for you, but your last 6 games, you're shooting the lights out of it. I followed you and watched you in college. I love the confidence. I also love that you changed your game up, because you can put it on the floor, but right now you are knocking down these shots, and it's been a huge help for the Milwaukee Bucks teams. What's been the difference for you in these last 6 games?
You know, I think just making sure that I stay confident. You know, at the end of the day, you know, my teammates do a great job of trusting me, and I trust them. And you got to take what the defense gives you. Like you said, sometimes it requires you to drive a little bit more, but right now the shots are open, and I got to make sure I just look at the front of the rim, shoot it, and make sure that mental toughness is there, because you're going to have down nights. You're going to have nights where you don't feel like you shot it as well as you could have, but you can't let that affect the next game, one shot at a time.
Pat, can you talk about just the confidence that you guys have in Holiday's defensive abilities, and also how Portis has come off the bench and given you guys a big lift?
Yeah, I mean, Drew, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league, but defensively he shows it on a nightly basis. His aggressiveness on both ends of the floor, he's shown on a nightly basis, and regardless of you know what the statistic shows, he's a winner. And at the end of the day, we got a lot of winners. You mentioned BP. He brings that energy, that tenacity on a nightly basis as well, and those are the types of things that I think win championships. Those are the types of things that put you in a position to compete for championships. And so to have those 2 guys on my team has been a blessing, and it's been a lot of fun to play aside next to them.
Pat, you're one away from a title and now 15 of 30 from three-point range in these NBA Finals. Congrats on the night and the win. Good luck back in Milwaukee.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, Pat Connaughton with us here now on NBA TV. 15 of 30. Coming off the bench. I mean, it's a new era, I know. Threes are wide open, and they got a ton of wide open corner threes tonight, which Phoenix will have to investigate for Game 6.
He said it best. He's ready. He's mentally tough, and you have to be able to come off the bench, not warm, and the only shot you're getting is flat-out spot-up shots.
Yeah.
He was a kid in college. Isaiah put it on the floor and got into a rhythm. That's a different mindset, and he's knocking them down, and he's not hesitating at all.
Nope.
Yeah, and to his credit, as you said, Smitty, you know, the way he played in college and now the way he's playing in the NBA, you know, sometimes you have to adjust your game to do what's best for the team so you can win. And you may not be able to bring all of your skill sets to the table, but what he's bringing to the table is the most important thing they need right now, and that's his three-point shooting.
All right, star of the night, Drew Holiday, and he is with us as well from the floor. And there he is, 12 of 20 from the field, 27 points, 4 boards, 13 assists. Those are all numbers, though. Drew, you had one of the plays that will be replayed for decades. One of the plays of NBA Finals history with the steal on Devin Booker and then setting up Giannis. If you can walk us through what you saw and what happened in those few seconds.
Man, Book's a great player and scorer, especially down the stretch. I think we kind of knew that he wanted the ball and he wanted to take that last shot. So I helped off on Chris. And again, granted to our defense, we played great defense, tucked there with the stop, and then turned right into me and got the steal. And from there, going down in transition, man, Giannis was screaming for it, and I threw it as high as I could. And he went up there and got it.
Drew, Steve Smith, just the presence of mind to make that pass. But I want to go back. Before you got on air, we all called Gary Payton the glove. I gave you the nickname Claws because Claws is go get it. I mean, your defensive pressure, not only just on that play, throughout this series and throughout your career, I mean, for me is to have a guy that be able to play offense the way you can and defense. Can you just talk about your defensive presence and your mindset guarding multiple guys?
Yeah, man, I take pride in it. 1 through 4, sometimes 5. Try to make it difficult. But in a situation like this where we're in the finals, to me, yes, I do want to score, but that's not the most important thing. We got Giannis, we got Chris, we got guys that can score, but I really want to make it hard for them defensively, keep them hopefully to 100 points, 105, and do the best I can and really just take pride in my defense.
Drew, I know how hard it is to play against one of the best point guards to ever play the game in terms of Chris Paul. Comes out in game 1, really plays well, has 32 points, and really looks like he's in control of the series from the point guard position. Game 2, he plays well. But 3, 4, and 5 right now, you've kind of put him in a position where he's not dominating the game, even though he's still effective. Talk to us about what you've done and the adjustments that you've made from game 2 to now 3, 4, and 5 on the defensive side of the ball with Paul.
Yeah, I think just make it difficult. Just be a pest, always be around, picking up full court. We know that he's the head of the stake, and they go as far as he does, especially with his assists, especially tonight. He probably had 10 assists tonight, but I think the way that those first 3, 4, and 5 this game, the way we kind of controlled him, corralled him, and made him think about what he wanted to do helped us out a lot.
Drew, there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about your shooting struggles in this series, including the 4 of 20 in Game 4. Tonight, you hit your first jump shot on the very first possession of the night, and it seemed like you were just off to the races at that point. Can you put into words how you were 8 shots better on the same 20 attempts tonight?
No, it was just confidence, really. Just go out there and shoot. Sometimes you go through a slump, sometimes you try to figure it out. Even the 4 for 20, I feel like I played great defense and we won the game. And when it comes down to that, winning is the most important thing. I know my teammates have my back, continuing to tell me to shoot. That's what I did tonight.
Drew, a question for me is, you, Chris, and Giannis, obviously you're good leaders of this team, especially in the offensive end. But can you speak on how Pat Connaughton and Bobby Portis, what those guys are doing and bringing off the bench, bring what they're bringing to the table off the bench?
Yeah, man, huge. Pat he's been hitting some big shots, making some big plays, big rebounds. That's just something that Pat has always done. And the energy that Bobby brings, man, nobody else can do that. When he's flexing on people, when he's getting those offensive rebounds, and he's yelling at the camera and all that, we love it, and the energy definitely picks up.
You're one game away from possibly being an NBA champion. Talk to us a little bit about how it feels to just be this close and how far you've come personally and how far your team has come.
Yeah, one game away. We want to celebrate it tonight, but we can't get too high on the horse. We know the last game is the hardest game to win, game 4. So we really just got to take it this next game. Hopefully we get back home with the energy of our crowd. We know what they're going to do, come out, play desperate, and we got to be able to do the same thing.
Another impressive two-way night for Jrue Holiday. We appreciate your time. Enjoy the flight back to Milwaukee, and good luck closing this thing out.
I will.
Applause. That's applause right there, Zeke.
Jrue Holiday. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is calling.
Yeah, he just got one claw. This
Oh,
is
just one claw.
claws.
Okay. All right.
Well, hooks. We're going to like hooks.
Hey,
Drew got some Jimmy Goldstein time there.
I'm going to call him. I don't want to see you.
I was joking during the game that Devin Booker is going to wake up somewhere over the Pacific on his way to Tokyo and realize that Jrue Holiday's still guarding him on the plane.
Hooks. Rest in peace, Debo.
Let's get to Mike Budenholzer. The Arizona native gets a win on the road here in Phoenix, and his Bucks are.
That steal by Drew late. Obviously, he's making such an impact defensively the entire night. But just can you take us through that sequence? Obviously, he gets the steal, but then also the alley-oop with the shot clock off.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought, the steal earlier in the game was a big play. And then the steal late, just, I think it's just an instinctive play. He's incredible defender and strong hands and got in there and took it. And, I think, probably most, but Drew and Giannis in a 2-on-1 and just to put 2 points on the board, I think just, trusting their instincts, trusting them, Giannis getting a bucket and putting us up, I think that made it 4 or, 5. But they're playing, they're competing, and that's what we need.
Obviously, when you guys got Drew, you knew what kind of defender he was. But, I mean, this is 40 minutes a night, Paul and Booker. Just what have you seen from this series? Especially, it didn't start out well, but now he's kind of found a groove.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, his ability to impact the ball, just make everybody uncomfortable. You never know when he might, get a steal, get a deflection. I think it all just adds up. And, he had a huge stretch there. And I think his stretch was maybe the third quarter. But all 3 of the guys, Giannis, Chris, Drew, all making plays defensively, stepping up offensively. But, yeah, Drew's impact defensively, it's a big part of the reason why he's such a good fit with us.
Rohan, you're on the right.
Bucks can close it out Tuesday night in Milwaukee. Here's Devin Booker after his second straight 40-point finals game.
We came out and did what, we intended to do, get off to a great start. And, we let it go. They stayed resilient and they kept playing through. So, tough loss for us.
Well, Devin, you've talked about what you've learned in the playoffs is that it's a series, that it's not just one game. So just speak to that mindset of going back to Milwaukee, knowing you get that one, you'll be back here for a Game 7.
I mean, one at a time. Our focus is the Milwaukee right now. That's how you have to do these series, one game at a time. And, that's it.
Dave, here in the front.
Look, I wanted to ask you about the play. You guys are down 1. You're coming down the court. You pick up your dribble around the foul line, and then Drew comes in. Just what were you seeing on the court in that moment? And when you kind of had a little bit of a transition opportunity, what were you seeing as you surveyed the court?
I was just trying to score the ball. He was behind me. I turned, and he was right there.
Over on the right side. Go ahead.
Hey, Devin. Obviously you had a great night, but it seemed like a lot of times that there was a lot of isolation. There wasn't a ton of ball movement. I know you talk about 0.5, and there weren't many of those possessions. Did you think things got, and maybe this for Chris too, that things were just too isolated and stagnant on offense for too long during the night?
Yeah, the whole third quarter, was pretty much that. We were trading basket for, I think, 5 minutes straight. But, we're at our best when we get stops and get out in transition. So, I always say we hang our hat on the defense end, and that's where we have to be better.
And Chris, what did you think about just kind of the ball movement? And did you feel it got a little stagnant at times?
Yeah, it definitely did, especially in that second quarter when I was out there. We talk about it all season long. We've been a ball movement team, and sometimes the switching can cause you to do that. We exploit it at times, but sometimes we don't. We'll go back and look at the film and see what we could have did better.
Gina?
For both you guys, I mean, you haven't lost 3 games in a row in 6 months since January and haven't really faced a must-win as far as an elimination game situation all playoffs. So just, I know how much you guys pride yourself on resilience and fighting back. So just what do you hope to see from you guys and your teammates the next 2 days to get ready for Game 6?
Just embrace it.
Yeah. We knew this wasn't going to be easy. We didn't expect it to be. And, I mean, it's hard. Coach said it all year long. Everything we want's on the other side of hard, and it don't get no harder than this. So we got to regroup, learn from this game, but it's over. We got to get ready for Game 6.
Anthony?
Chris, from your perspective, what happened in that second quarter, and do you feel like that's where you guys lost the game?
It's a 48-minute game. I'll go back and look at it and see, but we got to play the way we started off the game. We got to put a full game together like that, especially going there. And we got to win a game in Milwaukee. So that's all that matters right now.
Palmer, to you on Zoom.
I'm going to go to Greg Moore with the Arizona Republic.
Thanks, fellas. This is obviously a really tough loss. Devin, how frustrated are you for Chris right now?
The lead 11 for the United States. They look to end the exhibition journey on a high note. This would definitely be a win that they could build off of, Kara. Knocking off the number 2 team, the reigning world champs. Great ball movement. Tatum with the finish. Now 13 for the U.S. Sabrina. Abalde. Rodriguez. Down to Gasol. Great defensive movements by Bam Adebayo. Levine loses it. Regains possession. Tatum.
There were a couple miscues on when Giannis is at the free throw line. They got the offensive rebound a couple times. Is that a matter of just the ball bouncing a certain way, or you think you guys could do something differently on those situations?
I'd have to go relook at it, but he is he's a freak of nature. He's a different size dude. So even if he's boxing out, getting a hand on it, it's tough. So, you just have to put a body on him.
Everybody's out there anticipating a miss. Hell, even he is. You know what I mean? So, we got to keep trying to box out. And then if his length, he tipped the ball up in the air, ain't too much you can do.
All right, thanks, guys.
Sure.
Well, it's true. Giannis Antetokounmpo's free throw shooting is a wild card in this postseason. He was 4 of 11 tonight and turned out to have the biggest miss of the night because the Bucks got the ball back.
Yeah, and during those situations when you're the opposing team and you know that the shot is, potentially going to be missed, and in all probability is going to be missed. At that point in time in the game, you have to come up with the rebound. I mean, there's even though it's a wild miss and it's you. At that point in time, again, that you have to get that rebound.
Yeah.
Somehow you got to fight and claw and get that
That was a
rebound.
tough one, though. I mean, it wasn't close.
Yeah, but still, you got to get that one.
I would say, Matt, I'm with Isaiah. The reason why is Giannis is the biggest guy on the floor. They had inside, I think it was P.J. Tucker and Pat Connaughton. There's no way they can get the basketball. And the guy assigned to Giannis, you got to take his legs out, box. You got to almost box him almost back out to the top of the key.
Yeah.
He should not be able to tip it. And yes, it was. But to go to the finals, you got to get that rebound. Come up with that rebound.
The 11th offensive rebound of the night for the Milwaukee Bucks. They were +3 in that category, which they've dominated the last couple of games. Let's get to Monty Williams. His Suns, for the first time this postseason, face elimination Tuesday night in Game 6.
Yeah, Coach, that second quarter, how killer was the second quarter?
Well, both second and the third. you give up 79 points. And the reasoning behind it, I got to look at the film to see it, but we just didn't have the same energy that we had in the first and fourth. I mean, you look at the numbers, in the first and fourth, they have 44 points. And so, whether it's schematics or just outright grit and toughness during those moments to just get a stop, we couldn't get any consecutive stops in the second and third, and that ended up being the not the difference, but it just put us in a hole, and I felt like we were playing from behind for a long time.
Just a quick follow. You guys pride yourself on imposing your will and making teams uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I just thought there was a stretch like you're talking about where they were just going through the motions and getting any shot they wanted.
It looked like it. And I don't think it's for lack of effort. I just think in those moments, understanding what kind of effort we need right now, especially after the start. We expended a lot of energy in the first. We scored 37 points. We're probably going to need more in the second. And defensively, it just wasn't there in the second quarter.
Dave in the center.
Lonnie, after game 4, you spoke about turnovers and offensive rebounds, and
Yeah.
for 3 quarters, you largely corrected that. I
Yeah.
think you had less turnovers than they did, and same offensive rebounds. They get 5 offensive rebounds in the fourth, and then the 3 turnovers no bigger than the Drew steal. Just to see that pop up, what do you think?
Well, I just think the turnovers, we corrected that, but they shot 50% from 3. That was something that kind of gave them the edge. So they didn't get those points off of turnovers and offensive rebounding, but they got it from the 3-point line. We shot 61. We just didn't generate enough. The ball, when it moved tonight, it looked like Suns basketball. But we just didn't generate enough threes. So to your point, like we did what we were supposed to as far as the offensive rebounding and turnovers, but we gave up too many threes tonight.
And just a quick follow on the steal by Drew on Booker. Just a strong defensive play, or
It's a great play by Drew. I don't have any other words for that one. I just watched it, and he just makes a great play.
Hey, Monty, you kind of were talking about when the ball moved and stuff like that. I know Devin had a great game, obviously, but it seemed like there was a lot of possessions where it was just like, give the ball to him and he does something.
Yeah, we gotta move it around. We know what Book can do with the ball, but the one thing we talked about was getting to the paint, finding guys on the backside, and we feel like that's a formula. There were some times tonight where it just stuck a little bit, and against their defense, they don't have to work against that. So we can score an ISO ball, but to make that defense work, we got to move it around. And in order to beat this team, that's what you got to do.
Gina?
Monty, we've talked all playoffs just about the new experiences, the guys going through stuff for the first time. This is now going to be another one with you guys haven't faced elimination at all. Just Chris was up here saying it doesn't get any harder than this, to use one of your terms. But just what do you want to see out of the guys the next 2 days to make sure that you're still in a good headspace, to go into Game 6?
Well, headspace, mental stamina, all that stuff, it boils down to getting it done. We got to win one game to put them back on the plane. That's it, and you have to have that determination that you're willing to do whatever it takes to put them back on the plane. And so we can call it what we want to, mental toughness, all of that stuff, but it's going to be needed, and our guys are capable of doing it. This is our first time in this position, and we can do it.
Anthony on this side?
Drew's defensive imprints have obviously been all over the series, but he'd been kind of quiet offensively until tonight, and he got going really in that second quarter. Was it just him getting going, or did you feel like you had breakdowns?
Probably a bit of both. Getting over the screens or being up on the screens, whatever the case may be. He was knocking down shots, so we have to make those adjustments, and that's on me. We have to understand who the hot guy is and then make the adjustment in game. And I just didn't do a good enough job helping our guys tonight.
Kellen, over here in the corner.
Hey, Monty, with Chris, it felt like he was able to do paint to grade a lot more tonight. How did you like his bounce off the dribble and just the ability to get that offense churning a bit?
He was getting to the paint, and DA early was going with him, and so that put a lot of pressure on their rim protection. The pressure against Chris, it slowed us up a little bit. In the first quarter, it didn't, and we scored 37 points. And so that's a formula for us. Just get to the paint, shoot it, or find guys.
Is that a formula you can go over in the film?
We have to.
Game 6?
Yeah, for sure. Our guys know. Everybody in our locker room talked about it. We got to get the ball moving and make their defense work.
Chris Haynes?
Coach, you talk about the ball moving. Is that the common theme that you seen over these last 3 losses, or is there something else beyond that?
We've had ball movement in games. There have been games where we haven't made shots. Tonight we were making shots whenever we 1 or 2 passes from side to side where the ball moved. There just wasn't enough of that tonight. And so that's something that we can correct.
Polliner, to you on Zoom.
Go to Kent Somers with the Arizona Republic.
Yeah, Monty, obviously you've got to give Devin a rest at some point, but looking at it, do you regret keeping him out for 6 minutes in that second quarter when they really make a run?
It's hard for me to hear that.
Yeah.
Devin out for 6 minutes in the second quarter. Like when you,
I don't think our team defense wasn't up to par during that time. I'm not quite sure if that would have helped with. We had to get stops in that moment. They scored 43 points. We still only scored 24 to combat that. So, you can if all day long, but I don't think that was it. I think our team defense was just at a low level at that point.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And the Suns now face elimination for the first time this postseason after their 3rd home loss of the season. Milwaukee now 6-6 on the road, had their best 3-point shooting of the postseason as well. It's a very Jimmy Smith late 1960s vibe we got going here with the highlight.
I'm feeling it. I'm liking it. I'm liking
it as well. We're going to continue listening while you listen to
the
Mikal
Milwaukee
Bridges.
Blues.
fellas over here, just wanted to know what you feel like was the difference tonight. Why did the game turn out the way it did, you feel?
It felt a little on and off. We was playing hard in some spurts, and when it got to a point where we still in this thing, the long stretch of the game, we kind of picked it back up. But games like this, you can't really take no players off.
Kel, just a quick follow. You guys got it down to 1. What do you feel like was the key in getting that? Because they were up 14 in the fourth and got it down to 1. What was the key or keys to getting it down to that close?
Just playing our way. We were just defending, finding each other. We were just playing Suns basketball.
Gina?
For both you guys, just after the really hot start in the first quarter, just what do you feel like shifted maybe in the second to let them kind of get back in the game and take the lead?
We just made it easy for them. We left, took our foot off the gas, and credit to them. They stayed poised. We made that run. They didn't react. They just stayed with it and took the lead. But we relaxed, and that's what hurt us.
Over on the right side.
Hey, for either of you, it wasn't the entire game, obviously, but it seemed like there was a lot of possessions, especially when things were going bad, where everyone was just kind of waiting for Devin to do something, that the offense kind of got stagnant. What did you see out there? How tough has it been to get into the 0.5 kind of offense, and have the Bucks done something to kind of disrupt that, I guess?
They're doing a great job just, guarding. They got guys out there that can guard and just making it tough. Speed us up sometimes, and they just credit to them. They're doing a great job.
Anthony, here.
Yeah, the game kind of ended on that offensive rebound on the Giannis free throw late. Just from your perspective, how did that ball kind of bounce to them?
That was a horrible miss. It was just a athletic play. He tipped it behind him, knowing that his teammates are there. Just a bad miss.
Dave up front.
Mikal, it's been right in front of you. It's been almost 6 months since you guys lost 3 in a row as a team. obviously that hasn't been what you guys have been about. What's it going to take, and I guess for both of you, DeAndre too, what's it going to take not to make it 4?
Everything. Just being relentless, man. We can't really, shy away from what really got us here. We just have to stay consistent, man. We just have to regroup and, just make sure we keen on togetherness when, things don't go our way.
Dwayne again on the right.
Just seeing how Chris and Devin came in and seeing you two guys now, a sense of already focus of, okay, we got to get this game 6. What was maybe, I don't, you don't need to discuss what exactly was said in the locker room, but what was the mood like in the locker room? Was that already fast forward into Milwaukee, or were guys still bothered by what happened tonight?
We ready, man. We ready for the next game. You gonna, if you soak about it, it's the blink of eyes, season's gonna be over. So we'll learn from it. Coach gonna show clips and what we have to do better, but we know what we have to do. But we ready, man. It's just do or die. We lose, it's over. So we got to go out there and play our way and go get game 6.
Yeah, I like it. Tables are turned now. Now we're the desperate team.
By the Bucks, who were down early, fought their way back, changed up their offense a little bit tonight, and showed off some incredible shot making by Holiday and Middleton in particular. Devin Booker did his share as well for the Suns, but the Bucks get the win tonight, and that leads us to our post-game coverage here on NBA TV. Game Time live at the finals, presented by YouTube TV. Great to have you with us. That's Isaiah Thomas. That's Steve Smith. I'm Matt Weiner. We got Suns fans. They're not sure what to do with themselves right now, to be honest.
Yes.
Their team lost. They're on TV. They want to celebrate, but they know they lost, and so how do they handle that? This was just a great game, by the way.
It is. At both teams, Isaiah, Matt, it was fantastic to watch. This was unbelievable to get a chance to see how these teams competed. We call Gary Payton the glove. I call Kyle Korver the mitten. Drew Holiday is claws. Claws when got it.
Yeah. He was amazing on both ends of the floor.
We said before the game how we thought that he would be better offensive tonight, better off 3 steals.
By the Bucks, who were down early, fought their way back, changed up their offense a little bit tonight, and showed off some incredible shot making by Holiday and Middleton in particular. Devin Booker did his share as well for the Suns, but the Bucks get the win tonight, and that leads us to our post-game coverage here on NBA TV. Game Time live at the finals, presented by YouTube TV. Great to have you with us. That's Isaiah Thomas. That's Steve Smith. I'm Matt Weiner. We got Suns fans. They're not sure what to do with themselves right now, to be honest.
Yes.
Their team lost. They're on TV. They want to celebrate, but they know they lost, and so how do they handle that? This was just a great game, by the way.
It is. At both teams, Isaiah, Matt, it was fantastic to watch. This was unbelievable to get a chance to see how these teams competed. We call Gary Payton the glove. I call Kyle Korver the mitten. Drew Holiday is claws when got it.
Yeah. He was amazing on both ends of the floor.
We said before the game how we thought that he would be better offensive tonight, better off 3 steals. I mean, just a overall great basketball game that he played tonight.
Coming off a 4 for 20 game, remember, in Game 4. At one point tonight, he'd hit 10 of his first 13 shots. He hit his first shot of the game. You could sort of see it building as the confidence grew for Drew Holiday and the shots started falling.
And I think reason why, Matt, is we all know they got a chance, Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, to be able to handle the basketball and not Giannis bringing it up.
Yep.
Giannis still had 32 points, but he doesn't have to be an initiator. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton getting a chance to run pick and roll. They are the guards.
Yes.
And I think it puts them back in their natural position. Also, we know Giannis is one of those freak of nature players. He can handle and make plays, but it helps those guys out, Isaiah, in my opinion. They get to handle the basketball. They're not ball watching.
Without a doubt. Not only do they get to handle the basketball, but it puts them in an offensive rhythm. And as you pointed out earlier, with Middleton playing in the mid-range and Holiday being able to post up, those guys can come off, they can get into their comfort zone, and they can make shots.
Yeah, it was pretty apparent from the start that this was going to be the plan for Milwaukee, with Holiday and Middleton handling the ball more early in offense. And Giannis' shots really a result of whatever happened in the offensive flow.
Yeah, and I thought, a couple of games ago we talked about how they need to get Giannis into the mid-post. And
other new additions, JaVale McGee stepping in for Kevin Love, who stepped away because just wasn't able to get that calf right, had been trying to work his way back from injury. said he wasn't able to do so. So JaVale McGee, again, the 33-year-old, three-time NBA champ, will be the height that the U.S. is definitely going to need, as you mentioned, Kara, going up against Rudy Gobert and France in their group stage opener in Tokyo. Marc Gasol draining the free throws. So a 10-point game, 57.4 to play. The final exhibition before the Olympic Games. Another great performance from Marc Gasol. Was huge in the semifinal overtime win over Australia a couple years ago en route to that World Cup championship. And a minute of play for a couple of the USA Select team members who have helped the United States get ready for Tokyo. Dakota Mathias, Darius Garland on the floor along with Adebayo Green and Jeremy Grant. Great again to see Jeremy Grant back out there. Was under health and safety protocols for just a couple of days, just out of an abundance of caution. Never tested positive for COVID. And now in the clear. Here's Garland. Final 20 seconds, shot clock is on. Top two teams in the world. This could be a potential preview of a gold medal game in Tokyo. Has been the gold medal game in 2 of the last 3 Olympics, with the United States winning each time. Willy Hernan Gomez gives the finish. Something good to head to Tokyo on, but a great presents USA Basketball. And welcome back to Las Vegas, everyone. The final exhibition after a week of exhibition play against a variety of countries. If you just joining us as we take a look at our starting lineups presented by Nike, Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, and Draymond Green, the starting 5 for the United States. And for Spain, Rudy Fernandez, Ricky Rubio, Victor Claver, Marc Gasol, and Alberto Albalde. The worst ever finish in a World Cup.